Hello everyone, my name is Luisa Mateus and I am a professor at the Faculty of Pharmacy of the University of Lisbon. This is the biggest university in Portugal. Today I will present a work that results from the orientation of a master thesis of the student Bárbara Taborda, and part of the work has already resulted in a scientific article as you can see below. The work aims to assess the risk of exposure of children to mycotoxins through the consumption of cereals and cow's milk. This work was developed at the Portuguese Food and Economic Safety Authority, ASAI, with whom I collaborate. First, I would like to show the organization of my presentation. So, I will start with an introduction to the topic of mycotoxins. I will explain the various stages of the work. Next, I will present the results we obtained and their analysis. A survey was conducted by the Portuguese Food and Economic Safety Authority, and a national survey was also used. Finally, the conclusions that we are taken. Mycotoxins are secondary metabolites, that is, metabolites that are not essential for the growth, development and reproduction of fungi, but which are produced by fungi in stressful situations to give them an advantage in competition with other fungi or bacteria. Generally, this advantage process generates cytotoxicity, interfering with cell membranes or vital processes such as protein and nucleic acid synthesis. They are chemicals, contaminants of natural origin. They are ubiquitous, so their presence in food cannot be completely controlled or eliminated. In the food area, the most relevant mycotoxins, due to their presence and toxicity, are aflatoxins, from now on referred to as AF, acrotoxin A, OTA, deoxynivalenol, DON, and zearalenone, ZON. Regions with high humidity and mild temperatures, such as tropics, are favorable places for fungi to grow. Europe is also propitious for the production of mycotoxins because it is mostly a temperate climate zone. Mycotoxins have a very large global impact, contributing both to the decrease in animal production and to the cost of prevention and control by the industries themselves, as well as by the competent authorities. The impact these toxins may have on health is also scientifically evidenced. The main route of exposure is ingestion of contaminated food. Depending on the degree, route, and duration of the exposure, its nature and concentration, as well as individual susceptibility factors, the toxic effects may vary, affecting different organs and causing acute, subacute, or chronic disease, as can be observed in this slide. Among mycotoxins, aflatoxins are the most relevant for public and animal health due to their high toxicity, both acute and chronic, and high occurrence. Several mycotoxins can be present simultaneously in food, and given that there may be several daily exposures, it is difficult to assess the adverse effects arising from food intake. This situation is more complicated when it is realized that after metabolization, changes may occur that lead to increased toxicity like synergisms, addiction, or potentiation. Knowledge of the individual mechanisms of action can help to predict the potential interactive effects of mycotoxins mixtures, but which mixture must be experimentally analyzed, as combined toxicity is difficult to predict because it is a multifactorial process. However, exposure to mycotoxin mixture is a recent topic in the scientific community, so there are still few studies on the interactions and consequences for human health. However, the various studies on these binary mixtures were reviewed both in terms of their concentration in food and their combined toxicity. The previous slide and this one are intended to show some of the studies conducted by several authors. The ubiquitous occurrence of mycotoxins in the environment results in a probable and unavoidable human exposure, the main exposure being through the consumption of contaminated food, namely in cereals and, in the specific case of aflatoxin M1, in milk. In addition, one fungal species can produce several different toxins, and one mycotoxin can be produced by different species. Thus, if a food is contaminated with a fungus, and if mycotoxins production takes place, there may be several different toxins to which consumers will be exposed simultaneously. As I said before, there are the most relevant mycotoxins in the food area. Food groups cereals and milk were chosen because of the recognized contribution of these foodstuffs to mycotoxin exposure. Children and young people living in Portugal were chosen. The sample was subdivided into three groups: 1 to 3 years, 4 to 9 years, and 10 to 16 years, due to the particularities of their diet. Infants under 1 year of age were not considered due to the special needs of their diet. The National Food, Nutrition and Physical Activity Survey segmented data analysis into 4 age groups: children 0 to 9 years, adolescents 10 to 17 years, adults 18 to 64 years, and elders 65 to 84 years. Taking into account the age specificity of this work and considering the different consumption of cereals and milk, it was decided to evaluate only the group of adolescents from 10 to 17 years, whose results could be compared with results obtained by the food survey. The study was organized in several phases. The first phase allowed obtaining data on the eating behavior of a sample of the population and included the characterization of the frequency and quantity of foodstuffs consumed, using the elaboration and application of a survey food. The survey also provided anthropometric data, essential for the construction of mathematical exposure models. All data obtained from our survey were organized in an Excel database with the 3 age groups, as well as available data from the National Dietary and Physical Activity Survey for the group of 10 to 17 years. The next stage aimed to determine the body weight of the 3 age groups. In the subsequent phase, food consumption per person was defined. Next, the National Sample Control Plan was used, coordinated and carried out at the Food Risk Division of the Food and Economic Safety Authority, which aims to monitor the retail market in aspects related to food safety and foodstuffs available to the consumer. This plan is a unique source of national level which collects data on various food contaminants, namely the concentration of mycotoxins under study in the group of cereals and milk. In the following steps, the mycotoxins concentrations are multiplied by the food consumption and the total mycotoxin intake for each person is calculated. The total intake of all participants in the age group is adjusted, and this value is divided by the body weight to obtain the exposure per body weight of the age group. Exposure using Monte Carlo method was assessed by measures of central tendency, mean and median, originated in the simulation of exposure by body weight, but also by P95. Since being a vulnerable group, it was relevant to understand whether large consumers were at risk. The Monte Carlo stochastic model was used for the exposure calculation, which is currently one of the most requested methods by risk assessment experts and recommended by EFSA for studies of exposure to chemicals contaminants by food consumption. With the data obtained, it was possible to construct the following graphics. The average exposure to aflatoxin M1 obtained from our survey is well below the safe exposure limit of 0.2. When evaluating the results of each group in relation to the average obtained, it was found that in the 1 to 3 years group, the exposure was 22% compared to the 0.2. For the 4 and 9 years group, exposure was 25, and to the group 10 to 16 it was 14%. Large consumers in the three age groups had an exposure to aflatoxin M1 of 69, 81 and 44 respectively. Graphs show the exposure to FM1 for these consumers in the three groups. Compared to aflatoxin, the exposure to aflatoxin M1 in the three groups is closer to the limit. This can be explained by the regular consumption of milk, a theory that is reinforced by the discrepancy between the average in the values of the large consumers, which are 3 times higher than the average. For exposure to aflatoxins, it was found that in the three groups from 1 to 16 years, the average consumers reached values close to 7 and 3% of the safe exposure limit, which indicates that there is no risk of exposure to this mycotoxin. Large consumers show an exposure twice as high as the average, and even under these conditions, these individuals are far from the limit. Also, in the average exposure to OTA, no group exceeded the safe exposure limit, although the large consumers, P95, from 1 to 3 years and specifically from 4 to 9 years come close. In terms of exposure to OTA, it was found that median consumers reached values between 38 and 19% of the safe exposure limit. Large consumers, on the other hand, reach exposures between 84 and 50. DON exposure showed high levels for average consumers, with exposures of the first two groups exceeding the safe exposure limit by 70% and 60%. The average exposure of the 10 to 16 years group is the only one that does not exceed the limit. Large consumers of all groups largely exceed the limit value. The average exposure of the population to zone was below the safe exposure limit, with the highest value occurring in the 1 to 3 year groups. As for the exposure levels for large consumers, it was exceeded in the 1 to 3 years group and in the 4 to 9 years group. An exposure risk was identified for large consumers in these age groups. As for exposure to the NFPAS, it was found that the interviewers were not at risk for any of the mycotoxins, as was verified in our food survey. In order to understand to what extent the data obtained by the food survey could be indicators of the national population, we wanted to compare them with the representative data of the national survey, using Pearson's correlation coefficient, whose value is 0.999856. Values are very high, considering to indicate a very strong positive correlation. So, in this case, the food survey data can be correlated with the national survey data. The results obtained in our study were compared with those of several other studies. This data collection was important to understand the position of Portugal. In cereals and milk, food compliance of the National Official Food Control Plan with the Rapid Alert System for Food and Feed was observed. There is no risk for aflatoxins and OTA, but there are risks to exposure to DON and ZON. We verified that the 10 to 16 years group is a different group from the others. Maximum levels allowed by legislation should be validated, and largest contribution to mycotoxin exposure comes from bread, pasta, and rice. It was also concluded that the way to use the software is accessible, given the complexity of the calculations. More toxicological studies on the potential toxic effects of combined exposures to mycotoxins are needed, but they must be harmonized in terms of appropriate mathematical models for these types of assessments. It is not possible to completely avoid or eliminate the presence of mycotoxins in food, so it is essential to adopt appropriate preventive measures to decrease the risk of DON and ZON exposure for these consumers. This was the most important conclusion that we made. Thanks for your attention.